Hello and welcome to Emma Reads Reddit. Today I'm reading from r/AskReddit, where user Leggy Bald asked, "What's the strangest conversation you've accidentally eavesdropped on?" Black family in the Christmas decoration aisle, 3-year-old. "Dad, can I get a white man for Christmas?" Shocked dad. "What?" 3-year-old. "A white man," points at shelf. Shocked dad looks where son is pointing and laughs. No, son. That's called a snowman." I was pulling up to an intersection with a bus stop right as the light turned green. I crept by the stop and all I heard was an old black dude say, "And that's how the motherfucker took my leg." I looked out my passenger window to see him with a prosthetic in his hand, sitting in a wheelchair facing the other people at the bus stop. I don't know what story they heard, but it was damned good. I heard over a cube wall at work. "You promised we'd get a divorce after you got your green card." Not something I heard, but what someone eavesdropped on me. I used to work at a restaurant and every member of the kitchen staff was Indian, and they didn't speak English very well. There was one white guy that worked there, and for whatever reason, they all called him Ding Ding. White guy was having a birthday party and invited us all. One of the Indian guys and myself were standing outside the restaurant smoking, and the Indian guy says to me, "Hey man, are you going to Ding Ding party?" A guy walking by us stopped and said, "I'm sorry, I just overheard you guys, and I have to know what a Ding Ding party is." I couldn't stop laughing and eventually told him what it was. I was on the train listening to a woman yell on the phone that she wouldn't be able to make it to her dentist appointment because she had left her teeth at home. Didn't hear the full conversation, but I walked in on 2 employees at a convenience store with the conversation ending with the phrase, "And that's when we hid the clams." Killing time in Starbucks before my bus comes when 2 well-dressed businessmen walk in. "Hey, crazy day yesterday, huh?" "Haha, yeah. I didn't know you could train dogs to do that." It haunts me. I have so many questions that will never be answered. At a Chinese restaurant, an old man says to his friend, "I'm telling you, my balls swelled up like this." Then he holds his hands apart like he's holding a grapefruit. I once sat on my balcony, 3rd floor, at 2 AM listening to a guy at ground level who discovered his girlfriend was cheating on him on the 4th floor. He climbed a tree and saw her topless with a guy with her light on. I opened a beer and took a seat. "You said you were studying. You don't study with your shirt off." I was once in a Starbucks in Boston and witnessed a breakup which was immediately followed by a failed proposal attempt. It was the craziest thing. The dude was very into her and her body language did not reply in a copacetic manner. He confessed his love to her. She replied that it wasn't going to work and she might need some time. He replied, "We have the rest of our lives to figure it out, so you have time." Then he got down on a knee, pulled out a ring. She stood up and said, "This is what I'm talking about. You don't listen." She asked him to stand up. He said with tears in his eyes, "Why? I'm still waiting for an answer." She gathered her things and left out the back. The man sat down and finished his frappuccino while crying. I refer to the story as the saddest cold coffee beverage ever. Overheard 2 guys on the subway in NYC discussing what the perfect handgun caliber to whack someone. There was a small dude who was adamant that the best gun was a 9mm because that's what cops use. Then the big dude starts shaking his head negatively, goes on to give a small speech about anatomy and ballistics, then proceeds to state that a competent assassin would use a mere .22 handgun since it's hard to track, ammo is cheap, and you can mag dump someone in the head without anyone knowing it's gunfire. I think those guys were on their way to a hitman convention. In the 90s, when people used to use cordless phones, you could pick up phone calls on a scanner. This is how I found out our downstairs neighbour was cooking and selling large quantities of meth out of his apartment. I was eating beside 2 older gentlemen at a bar and I hear one of them say something like, "That stupid cat follows me everywhere. I've told my granddaughter to keep it away from me, but everyone thinks it's funny. I can't get away from it." There's silence between the 2 and then the second older man laughs. "You secretly love that hairball, don't you?" The guy lets out a giant, irritated sigh and sullenly admits, "Yes." My downstairs neighbours were having a fight. I was listening to a woman yell, "Did you fuck her? Did you fuck her?" over and over. It gets really exciting when another lady says, "No, I didn't." Behind 2 ladies in church, Lady 1 says quietly out the side of her mouth, I have a very unladylike itch." Lady 2 whispers back, "That's okay, I just farted." I heard, "Oh yeah, I had to go and get an exorcism this weekend." Couple sitting on a bench in a park, talking low-key to each other. He said something to which she giggled and said, "No." He repeated it and she laughed a bit louder, saying "no" again. After he leaned in for the 3rd time, she snapped and clearly said, "No, I will not pee on you." This happened the other day and only just remembered. Was cycling home and overtook some young lads, at a glance I'd say about 13 to 14 years old, mouthing off to each other. But as I was cycling past, I genuinely overheard, "Oi mate, you know what I'm going to do when I'm older and have my own garden? A fucking fuchsia." I just couldn't. On the bus outside Sunday school with 2 preteen boys. and then he ate their brains for his dinner. Dude, that's not what happened. It is! He rose from the dead and then he ate them! Yeah, he came back from the dead, but that doesn't mean he was a zombie. Then why did they call it the Last Supper? I was at the pool at Caesar's Palace lounging when the people in front of me were talking about one of their tattoos. Bro 1. What's with the coordinates on your arm? Is it your hometown or something? Bro with tat. Sort of. It's the coordinates to my hometown strip club that I lost my virginity in. Ew. A sudden lull in an otherwise noisy pub bar in England. One line of conversation drifts across. Well, we've got triangular bees. Everyone suddenly looks confused. I was spending the night at my mom's house for Christmas. Her birthday's on the 25th and we usually go to a movie for it, so it was easier for me to spend the night so we could go out the next day. Anyway, it's about 2 AM and I'm outside having a cigarette when suddenly I hear one of the neighbours yelling, "What are you doing outside? Get your ass back in!" Immediately after I hear a kid yell in protest, followed by, "Dad, I just wanted to see Santa land on the roof." The kid snuck out of bed and out of the house at 2 in the morning when it was probably like 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside, just so he could see Santa. It was really adorable, but also pretty hilarious. Toenail comparison in church. Whose were shorter and crustier? What colour they should paint them to cover the fungal infections? Ugh. Red, bright red. Oh, that little doggy just loved chocolate, but we had to put him down because he started getting senile. My dad and I, who are not dog people, just stared at each other as we listened to this. Oh dear Lord, that lady poisoned her dog. On public transit, I heard a girl on her cell phone loudly having a conversation with her friend. She'd just left her boyfriend's family Christmas holiday celebration, where she seemingly clashed with one or more of his family in one respect or another about things to do with her relationship with the guy. She'd apparently spoken to him about it, and he suggested they speak to the offending parties and sort out the problem/confrontation. And she tells her friend, "I told him I was embarrassed to have a conversation with strangers about our personal life like that. Airing dirty laundry in such a public setting, I mean, how crass can you be?" She says loudly, on a bus, with no less than 30 strangers who can hear this conversation about her personal life/dirty laundry because she can't control the volume of her voice. The irony was lost on her. I even gave her the raised eyebrow, and she had no idea. I was on a bus and a girl got on whilst talking on her phone. She appeared to be having a discussion with her friend about why the friend's boyfriend wasn't worth it. She then proceeded to say down the phone, "You can't stay with him just because he bailed you out of jail, Heather." I've not heard a full-on conversation, but I've heard some funny one-liners in passing. Walking through a parking lot of a shopping centre with a bunch of restaurants, and I hear some guy say as he's walking past me, "I can't even go to the strip club on my lunch hour anymore." Another time, I was walking out to the grocery store and this guy ran up to his friends and said, "Hey man, you heard of some shit called couscous?" And there I was, barbecue sauce on my titties. In the next booth, over from two big blue collared guys at a diner and overheard just this. "A hand takes 30 minutes, but a leg will take a whole day." My family has been debating what that meant for about 20 years. Electrolysis is the going theory. My cousin was getting a snack from the fridge and Granny and Grandpa in their 80s were washing dishes. They, of course, didn't hear her come in because they are near deaf. Their loud conversation went like this. Margaret: "I was reading an article in Reader's Digest." Gilbert: "Uh-huh." Margaret: "It said that couples our age still have sex once a month." Gilbert doesn't say anything. Margaret doesn't say anything. Gilbert nudging Granny with his elbow. "We're beating him, hun." I was at a basketball game one time and I walked by two guys who looked to be in high school. One of them said to the other, "Ah man, none of my girlfriends have texted me back yet." I was working next to a high fence. On the other side of the fence there were 4 or 5 little kids playing, usual children's conversation, until one child asks, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" So the answers were nurse, fireman, builder, similar to that, until the last boy, "I'm going to be a sex maniac." He was about 5. I passed someone in the crowded hall who said, "And that's why I wear hats now." All I heard, but it's so intriguing. One upstairs neighbour to the other, "I'll fucking kill you, stay the fuck away from my ice cubes." If it weren't for my horse, I would have spent that year in college. I don't know if it's the strangest, but it is a recent one. It's official, I'm a swinger now. What? I saw Spider-Man Far From Home last night. Do you know what swinger means? Spider-Man fan? No. At a supermarket, I heard someone yell, "He's doing what to the broccoli?" Then run outside at full pelt. I often wonder what he did to the broccoli. Man, the DJ had to stop the music and ask who the fuck was spreading glitter all over the dance floor. I've never taken off my glitter boots as quickly as I did that moment. This is one of my favourite stories. I was waiting tables at an overpriced touristy place, and in my section I had a couple who were fighting from the second they got there. From what I gleaned, they were married and getting a divorce. The dude seemed pretty broken up about it. The lady, not so much. So, as I'm dropping the check, he asks, "So what are we going to do about the baby?" He pointed to her belly. She wasn't really showing yet. She straight says, as I'm definitely still at the table, "Don't worry about it. It's not yours." This convo between two young women I was walking behind on the street blew my mind. What about Derek? He's pretty hot. Don't you know he's gay? Oh, he isn't. Yeah, haven't you noticed the way he talks? Lots of guys talk like that. What about how interested he is in flower arranging? He's just a sensitive guy, but haven't you seen his shoes? Oh, yeah, you're right. Two people watching sunset. Person A, "Look, I can see the moon." Person B, "No, it's the second sun." Person A, "What?" Person B, "The Australian one." Person A, "I don't understand." Person B, "We have one sun and they have another one in Australia. It's how we all get the sun." Maybe not strange. I heard a woman on the phone at the store. I don't know why he won't bring her home to meet us. I mean, she's only Asian. It's not like she's black or something. I think I may know why your son won't bring his Asian girlfriend home to meet his racist parents. I was visiting Denver and I overheard a kid tell his dad he deserved Subway because he hadn't dabbed in a while. The week is long. The silver cat feeds when blue meets yellow in the west. A trip to China sounds nice. Oh, total spies. I was walking the mall and I heard this old fat lady tell this little Chinese man, "All you need is some 90% isopropyl alcohol, water and pepper. That will keep that bitch away." Like, what? Lol. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you have heard, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss anything from Emma Reads Reddit.